everyone, it's Jack from WhatCulture.com. Now, you may remember that last week I did a video ranking who I thought should have won the Money in the Bank briefcases in the respective men's and women's matches. Now, obviously, neither of those things happened. Neither of my first choices were actually the winners. But now it's time to look at something that happened at the pay-per-view that may have slipped under the radar when all was said and done. That's right, in this video we're going to be looking at Maria and Mike Kanellis. Maria Kanellis, obviously former WWE diva back in the days of the Divas, and Mike Bennett, a recent stalwart of the Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling kind of North American indie scene, who recently made his debut alongside his real-life wife under the new name of Mike Kanellis. He's taken her name. They were doing a very kind of mushy, in-love heel couple gimmick. Now, who is going to be best suited to be their first rival? Let's take a look, because I've compiled every single, let me get this right, SmackDown active male babyface singles wrestler. SmackDown active babyface male singles wrestler. Yes. Why have I done this? Because, of course, Mike Bennett is a heel, Maria's not really a wrestler, so we're gonna have to look at who he can feud with her presumably as his kind of superior, kind of manager figure to get all the heat. And we're gonna have to look at, you know, singles guys. Obviously, he's not gonna be feuding with a tag team. He's not gonna be feuding with someone who's a non-wrestler as well. It's everyone who could possibly, feasibly on the SmackDown roster feud with Mike Bennett. Hopefully, if I'm right, he will feud with one of these people, but there are only 7 of them, so if I'm not right, I'm gonna look like a right tit. So without any further ado, here is my ranking of the 7 people Mike Kanellis and Maria could feud with in the next few weeks, his first feud in WWE, and we're gonna go from my least preferred to my first preferred, and we're gonna do that right now. In at number 7, it's Rusev. Now, I know you're saying, hold on, Jack, as you spray cereal from your mouths over the laptop screen in fury. Hold on, Jack, Rusev is a heel, and so is Mike Kanellis. How on earth are they going to have a feud? And this is why Rusev is my, 7th out of the 7 possible feuding partners for Mike Kanellis, because he's a heel, really, by definition, even though the fans love him, or most of us. Well, Ross, and us, mainly Ross. Rusev is a heel by definition, but when he returns, expect him to get a babyface pop, and who knows whether WWE will turn him face or not. And if he is face, that means he could feud with Mike Kanellis. But this is why Rusev is my number 7, because, one of them is going to have to lose, and you don't really want Mike to lose because he's new, and you don't want Rusev to lose because he's coming back with a big head of steam, having taken so much time off. That's why I really don't want to see this one, but it could happen. Who knows? In at number 6, and before you scream at your screens again, I know I don't want to see this either, but I did have to just get every singles babyface male active roster member on SmackDown, and AJ Styles is one of them. Number 6 is AJ Styles. It should be self-explanatory why AJ is so low. He is looking to be locked into a feud with Shinsuke Nakamura after that wonderful stare down at Money in the Bank, and hopefully this just certainly doesn't happen at all, because if AJ feuds with Mike Kanellis, Kanellis is going to get squashed. It's not going to do good for either of them. Everyone expects AJ to beat someone of his caliber anyway, and we don't want to see it. We want to see AJ, competing for belts, build into that feud with Shinsuke, and so on. Number 6, Shinsuke Nakamura. Much the same reason. We don't want to see Nakamura in a feud with someone as kind of new and low on the card as Mike Kanellis, and also Shinsuke has been portrayed as an absolute killer in that Money in the Bank ladder match. He was nailing people's faces off and only lost, you could argue, because he got distracted by AJ. So it doesn't make any sense for Nakamura to go into a feud with kind of a lower guy on the roster. Certainly not that much lower anyway. We want to keep him up there in the kind of upper echelon of the blue brand. Next up, my boy, and the guy that I desperately wanted to win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match but didn't, but put in an amazing performance in that match, Samuel Zayn. Now, Zayn, unlike the others we've talked about so far, would kind of work, and here's why. Zayn is a very pure babyface, an underdog, scrappy, loves to fight, often loses, but always bounces back because of the support of the fans. Maria, if you've watched her in Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor, is the first lady. She's kind of Stephanie McMahon Jr. She's a big heel, she talks down to everyone, she thinks she's better than everyone else, and by proxy will think that her husband's better than everyone else. So I can totally see the dynamic between the lovable underdog Zayn and the kind of preening pretty boy Mike Kanellis, and he has the backing, obviously, of his powerful wife as well. Here's why I don't want to see it, though. I don't want to... Sami Zayn's already been badly emasculated by Stephanie McMahon when he was over on Raw, and by Mick Foley as well. And you just don't want to see him, having taken all that kind of ridicule from Steph, to just go to Maria, who is kind of Stephanie McMahon-esque, and just continue to take it again. And similar problem to before, I don't want either of these guys to lose this feud. You know, Mike's new, don't want him to lose. Sami's my boy, don't want him to lose. Next up, and I had to do a double take when I saw him on the list that I'd compiled, Sin Cara. Sin Cara's still an active member of the roster, apparently. You know what, chuck him in, have Mike beat him. That makes sense, you know. Yeah, what else can you say? It's Sin Cara. Number 2, and here's where things get very interesting and you might think I'm talking out of my arse. Number 2 for me is Randy Orton. And yes, it sounds a bit far-fetched to expect Orton to go from a title feud with Jinder Mahal, that sentence is ridiculous, down to this kind of lower feud with Kanellis and Marie, the Kanellis couple. On the other hand, here's why it would work. Orton doesn't really have a claim on the WWE Championship anymore, and it would kind of make sense to get him away from the title picture. He's lost to Jinder twice now in a row, and we kind of want to keep that main event scene clean, or clear, should I say, for guys like Corbin, who has the briefcase, AJ and Nakamura, who are hopefully going to tear it up together, Owen, Zayn, Ziggler potentially even. He still can put on a very good match, as we've seen in recent weeks. So I think it's important to get Orton out of there slightly. People might be tired of seeing him at the top of the card. And this feud, although very unbalanced because Orton's portrayed as one of the strongest wrestlers in WWE history, could actually work. I can kind of see it as Orton as kind of the brooding, badass, bad boy, anti-hero kind of guy against, you know, Mike Kanellis, who we're really not going to like. There's going to be a lot of heat on him because of the way that he and Maria go on. Fans are going to get behind Orton, they're going to hate Mike, and if somehow Mike can weasel his way, with Maria's help, out of that feud, maybe with a roll-up victory, or even by just evading Orton and, you know, playing on Orton's anger issues and getting him DQ'd and all that sort of stuff, I think that would be a very nice way for him to have his first feud and to make kind of his debut and arrival on the scene. And finally, we get to my number 1 pick, and a guy who's kind of been missing a little bit in the past few weeks. Maybe he's been dealing with some minor injuries or something, but he wasn't listed as injured when I checked. Luke Harper. Luke Harper for me ticks all the boxes that you want in an initial feud for Mike Kanellis. He is the opposite of the Kanellis couple. He's, you know, unkempt. He's a loner, you know, since he left the Wyatt family. He doesn't really care what he looks like. He's a rough and ready wrestler. Mike's gimmick on Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling was more like the kind of, I am a superstar, I should be in WWE, without kind of saying it. That's what he was always portrayed as against these smaller, more indie style guys, and it was very interesting. Harper is kind of everything he's not. He's an ogre, he's a thug, but he's a lovable one, and the fans would really get behind him, I think. Similarly, I just want this to happen because of the interactions between Maria and Luke Harper. Can you imagine how creeped out and disgusted she's going to be, and how little of a care Harper's going to give? He'll probably, you know, try and creep her out a little bit. Maybe he'll do his starey eye thing. And also, my final point as well is that, and as much as it pains me to say it because I love Luke Harper, he is kind of a guy right now who doesn't have much momentum and could well be the guy to put Mike Kanellis over and establish him with some kind of momentum as well. So I'm sorry, Luke, and I'm sorry, Harper fans, I'm one as well, but he may have to take a bullet to help this new superstar get over. And I think we can all agree sometimes sacrifices have to be made, and maybe it's a worthwhile one if Kanellis turns out to be good. So that's all for now on this ranking. I do hope you enjoyed it. Who do you think Maria and Mike should step up to first on SmackDown? Let us know in the comments section below. But for now, I've been Jack from WhatCulture.com. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Hello, it's Jack here, lead singer of acclaimed covers band American Rachel. I did not write this script, and I'm here to test your wrestling knowledge today. Are you ready? Guess the theme tune that I'm about to hum. Did you get it? Awesome! Yeah, that's right. It was Becky Lynch's theme tune, my girlfriend. So for more theme tunes and awesome fun as well, buy the new What Culture Wrestling Trivia game, available as always at shop.whatculture.com.